Good morning, good morning, good morning, folks. Merry stupid o'clock to one and all. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels, and yes, this is the second time around because I was going to read one article only to find out we've already done it. So, this is what happens when you do one video a day, folks. This is what happens when you do that. And also when you get a severe case of autistic fog brain. But neither here nor there. Before we get going with today's video, we are going to have the usual disclaimers. First off, you are going to see the link to the little article ASAN has put together for us here so kindly back in 2012, right there in the description box, alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Now, trigger warning, folks. When we talk about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of video surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. So, folks, if you do have young children present, please, folks, use your headphones. Also, it is stupid o'clock a.m. in the morning. I have woken up with an attitude problem and severe brain fog. So if I run off into random explicitives, stare off into space, or stumble over my words, my apologies in advance. I woke up angry at air this morning, alright? Okay. Also, nope, we covered it all. Yep, that's what I mean, fog brain. It will drive you nuts. Stop the torture on children. Close the Judge Rotenberg Center. Local action organized by People First of New Hampshire. And they did this protest Saturday, June the 9th of 2012. And here they put together some quick facts. We're going to go over another thing too. And you get to drift with me. We're all going to have autistic fog brain. You get to have autistic fog brain through me this morning. Broaden your horizons a little bit, Some quick facts about the Judge Rotenberg Center. JRC uses what they call adversives, including painful shocks to control behavior. While the school describes each shock as feeling like a bee sting, one Massachusetts legislator described it as just unbearable. I felt like I was being electrocuted. On April the 9th, 2012, Andre McCullen's court case against the Judge Rotenberg Center finally began to be heard, and the tapes of his 7-hour-long ordeal of being restrained face down and shocked 31 times at JRC have now been released after 8 years of being sealed. In 2011, Dr. Matthew Israel, founder-director of JRC, was forced to resign due to charges of misleading a witness and destroying evidence pertaining to an incident where 2 children were shocked over 100 times. In addition to shock, JRC has also made extensive use of other adversives, including significant denial of food, forced inhalation of ammonia, white noise helmets, and brutal restraint techniques. The JRC has been cited many times over the years for deaths due to extreme medical negligence, misuse of aversives, and restraint. Injuries from burns sustained as results of shock are common. JRC has been cited multiple times over the years for deaths due to extreme medical negligence, misuse of aversives, and restraint. Injuries from burns sustained as a result of the shocks are common. Okay, I already read over that. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture has officially declared JRC's actions to be torture. According to JRC, currently there are no NH students attending, but there has been and there could be if we don't act. Make people aware of adversives and that this is not a place for a living being. Preach it. So that is from People First of New Hampshire. People First, folks, is an international organization made up of self-advocates that fight for the human rights of peoples with disabilities. We have them all over the world. If you're interested, you can go on peoplefirst.org and they have links to all the People First chapters throughout the world that have an online presence. Okay, so let's take a look here. Okay, now we're going to do ASANS. It's time to pick a side. Even though this came back in 2012, I think this is even more pertinent now since we are fighting alongside the FDA to get that ban back in place. And believe me when I say that's just the beginning of the work ahead of us. All right, so let's get this pulled up here. When it comes to torture, it's time to pick a side. As it has many times in the past, the Association for Behavioral Analysis International is allowing the Judge Rotenberg Center JRC to exhibit at its convention. Remember, I told you last summer they presented and are likely again to be keynote speakers this year. So anyone who tells you ABA is completely different from what they do at the JRC and that they do not condone or support it, you bring this in front of them. Then you ask them, then why the hell does ABA International allow them keynote speeches at every single convention since the early 2000s? All right? Bullshitting's bad for you. The Judge Rotenberg Center's use of contingent electric shock, food deprivation, mechanical restraint, and other adversives has been called out as abusive on multiple occasions. In 2010, the United Nations declared that JRC's practices are torture. The UN then asked the U.S. government to intervene. Recent civil litigation has led to renewed media attention from sources ranging from the Boston Globe to Anderson Cooper's television shows. Remember, this is 2012. Our only moment in the sun. The United States Department of Justice has targeted the Judge Rotenberg Center in an ongoing investigation of its abusive practices, which went nowhere. In case anyone's wondering, it went fucking nowhere. Because somehow these bastards always win. For decades, disability rights advocates have worked toward one simple goal: shut down the Judge Rotenberg Center. Still, ABAI hasn't gotten the message. The Judge Rotenberg Center's use of torture in the name of treatment should never be given a platform. ABAI must disavow the Judge Rotenberg Center and other facilities which use adversive interventions and abusive treatments. When it comes to the torture of disabled children and adults, the time has come to pick a side. Condemn the JRC and stop giving it a platform. So, why did I bring up this particular one? Well, let me tell you. There are a few of us were diagnosed later in life. We never got introduced to the horrors of ABA. In fact, in order to be informed of just how freaking psycho it is, we had to speak with other autistics who had been through this horrible practice, and to let us know what actually happens when you're in ABA therapy, which I'm forever grateful for them for sharing that. I know it's not easy. You have a whole lot of people all over the world who will sit there and tell you ABA is the golden standard of care. You hear it all the time. My God freaking goddamn William Shatner preaches his from his I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about soapbox about how it's the golden standard of care. These people, however, don't seem to understand or look into the history of ABA or who they support. That's what makes this important. You have a lot of people who are ABA practitioners who don't understand the history of their own method of treatment, if you get what I'm saying here. The founder of ABA actually literally said, and they quote, "What you have is the makings of a human being. They have nose, eyes, ears, mouth, feet. But you have the makings of a human being, but they're not really human." So ABA was created based off the Pavlov experiments, I might add, in order to turn us into people. I wish to God I was kidding. And that's the history of ABA, okay? Now you have ABAI, who has allowed the JRC a massive platform every single year since 2012, at the very least. It may go further back than that, I'm not sure. There is something going on there. Okay? Look into ABA as well as fight the JRC with us. That was the point I wanted to bring up this morning. And on that note, folks, I'm going to go ahead and close out for now. There is going to be another video right after this, folks, due to the Free Britney Spears movement and the decision that was made yesterday. Woo! We don't get any views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.